Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the life you're living right now is a direct reflection of the thoughts you have planted, nurtured, and repeated, knowingly or unknowingly? Here is a 450-word explanation of point 1 from the sermon, with **, no subheadings, and no ending sentence **, exactly as requested. The idea that you become what you think is one of the most transformative truths you can embrace, because your mind is the workshop where every experience in your life is shaped, molded, and eventually expressed in the physical world. When you hold a thought long enough, when you nourish it with emotion, belief, and repetition, it begins to influence the way you speak, act, respond, and move through your days. A thought may seem small, even insignificant at first, but like a seed planted deep in the soil, it contains the blueprint for a future outcome. If you plant a seed of doubt, fear, or limitation in your mind and tend to it with attention, you will inevitably begin to see its harvest in the form of hesitation, insecurity, and missed opportunities. The same is true when you plant thoughts of possibility, boldness, gratitude, and inner strength, because these thoughts begin to express themselves through your choices and eventually transform the landscape of your entire life. Most people underestimate the power of their inner dialogue. They allow old beliefs, often inherited from childhood or shaped by past disappointments, to play repeatedly like a quiet soundtrack in the background of the mind. Over time, these thoughts create a mental environment that either empowers or restricts. When you become aware of what you consistently think about, you begin to notice a pattern. Your thoughts are not random. They are invitations, drawing situations, people, and experiences that match the emotional tone you carry within. If you think small, you live small. If you think expansively, courageously, compassionately, your life begins to stretch in new directions, because the inner world always precedes the outer one. Shifting your thinking is not about forcing yourself to be positive at every moment. It is about recognizing the sacred responsibility you have over your mental environment and choosing your thoughts with the same care you would choose what you plant in a garden you hope will nourish you. Every time you choose a thought aligned with your highest values, your inner peace, your divine potential, you are carving a new path in your consciousness. Over time, this new path becomes the highway your mind naturally travels, and your life begins to reflect the clarity, confidence, and purpose that those thoughts carry. Your thoughts are creative forces constantly shaping who you are becoming, and when you intentionally guide them, you guide your destiny. Here is the explanation of point **, 2** in about 450 words, with **, no subheadings, and no ending sentence **. The second point reminds us that the mind is a magnet, constantly pulling experiences toward us based on the emotional weight and the mental images we repeatedly dwell upon, and understanding this truth can completely shift how we navigate our lives, because most people move through the world thinking their thoughts are harmless, invisible, or irrelevant, when in reality every consistent thought is an invitation to a corresponding experience, shaping the tone, direction, and quality of our days in ways we often don't realize until the results have already shown up. And when we allow our minds to wander into fear, doubt, scarcity, or resentment, we unknowingly broadcast a frequency that attracts circumstances aligned with those states, not as punishment, but as a natural consequence of the energy we hold. Whereas when we consciously cultivate thoughts of possibility, gratitude, confidence, and inner peace, we raise our internal vibration and begin drawing in opportunities, clarity, and people who align with the higher vision we carry. And this process doesn't require force or struggle, but rather a gentle, consistent awareness of where the mind tends to drift, because the moment you notice yourself rehearsing worries or repeating mental stories that drain your strength is the moment you're given the power to redirect your energy towards something more empowering. And this shift might feel small at first, but like planting a seed, The transformation grows quietly beneath the surface until it becomes visible and undeniable in the form of better moods, better decisions, better relationships, and a deeper sense of inner authority. And when you understand that your thoughts are creative instruments rather than harmless mental noise, you begin to treat them with a sacred kind of respect, choosing them the way a sculptor chooses each stroke of the chisel, knowing that every choice is shaping something. And although the world around you may offer chaos, negativity, or distractions, you still possess the unshakable ability to choose what you hold in your mind. And that choice becomes your compass, your filter, and your silent declaration of what you are willing to welcome into your life. And the moment you take responsibility for the direction of your inner world, you stop waiting for external conditions to improve before you feel better, because you realize the source of change has always been internal, always been available, always been waiting for your recognition. And when you commit to nurturing a mental environment that reflects the kind of life you truly want to experience, the world begins to arrange itself in response to that commitment, meeting you with confirmations that your inner work is never in vain, and your thoughts are always carrying creative power even on the days when it feels slow, subtle, or invisible. And over time this awareness becomes a natural way of living rather than a technique or practice, guiding you gently toward a life shaped not by old patterns or automatic reactions, but by intention, clarity, and the quiet strength of knowing that your mind is not a passive observer but a powerful creator. And as you accept this truth more deeply, your relationship to every moment begins to change, because you no longer move through life unconsciously, letting thoughts drift in uninvited, but instead you choose them with the quiet authority of someone who knows they are crafting their future. With every idea they allow to settle into the fertile soil of their awareness, every experience a person lives through begins in the landscape of the mind, long before it shows up in the physical world. What you consistently think about becomes the lens through which you interpret life, and that lens influences your decisions, your behavior, your emotions, and ultimately the outcomes you encounter. When a person repeatedly holds thoughts of limitation, scarcity, or unworthiness, the mind begins to filter experiences in a way that confirms those beliefs. Opportunities that could have been embraced are overlooked, doors that could have opened are never approached, and paths that might have led somewhere meaningful remain unexplored because the inner world was dominated by thoughts that whispered you can't. On the other hand, when you develop the discipline of filling your mind with possibility, gratitude, and expectancy, you train yourself to notice what is supportive rather than what is threatening. You become more willing to step forward, more confident in your choices, and more resilient when setbacks occur. The mind naturally seeks alignment with the images it holds most often, so the clearer and more positive those images are, the more they serve as a compass pointing your actions toward growth. This is not a matter of fantasy or denial, but a matter of internal alignment. Thought is creative energy. It plants seeds in your subconscious, and those seeds grow into tendencies, habits, and beliefs that shape the entire direction of your life. When you recognize the power of this process, you also recognize the responsibility that comes with it. You cannot always control external circumstances, but you can absolutely choose the thoughts you nourish. Every single day you participate in the creation of your reality by deciding what you allow to remain in your mind. By choosing thoughts of purpose instead of fear, of possibility instead of limitation, you shift your internal state, and that shift influences everything from your posture to your voice to your willingness to act. Over time, these seemingly small internal adjustments accumulate into profound transformations. The reality you experience is not simply handed to you. It is shaped, refined, and molded by the quality of your thinking. When you honor the creative power of your thoughts, you begin to understand that your mind is not just a place where ideas come and go, but a workshop where the blueprint of your future is drafted every day. Below is the expansion of point 4 into 450 words with no subheadings and no ending sentence exactly as you requested. True transformation begins with the awareness that every thought carries an energetic imprint, and this imprint shapes how we interpret our experiences and respond to the world around us. When you recognize that your inner dialogue acts as the architect of your reality, you start to pay close attention to what you allow to circulate in the quiet chambers of your mind. Many people go through life believing circumstances determine their outcomes, yet the deeper truth is that it is their internal response, molded by habitual thinking, that decides the direction of their journey. Awareness is the moment you step back from the noise, observe your own patterns, and understand that you are not your thoughts. You are the one witnessing them. In that sacred space of observation, you begin to realize that thinking is a tool rather than a master, and once you can see the mechanics of your mental habits, you become empowered to change them. Awareness acts as a gentle light, illuminating the corners of your consciousness where old beliefs, fears, and assumptions hide, influencing your choices without your permission. As this light strengthens, you notice how some of your thoughts subtly limit you, whispering doubts about your worthiness, capability, or potential. Instead of accepting them as truth, awareness allows you to question them and trace them back to their origin. Many of these limiting thoughts were inherited from the past, voices of childhood, echoes of society, or reflections of past disappointments. When you recognize that these thoughts do not belong to your present self, you start to release them with compassion rather than resistance. Awareness transforms the mind from a place of reaction to a field of conscious creation. Practicing awareness also deepens your sensitivity to the emotional tones behind your thoughts. You begin to sense when a thought carries fear, scarcity, or judgment, and when another carries love, courage, or possibility. This emotional awareness becomes a compass guiding you toward thoughts that align with the life you want to live instead of the life you fear. As you notice the quality of your inner dialogue, you naturally choose thoughts that nurture growth rather than reinforce stagnation. This isn't about forcing positivity, but rather choosing clarity over unconscious repetition and presence over autopilot thinking. As awareness grows, your thoughts become intentional rather than accidental. You start thinking with purpose, focusing on ideas that elevate your spirit and energize your ambitions. The more you cultivate this mindful presence, the more your inner world begins to shift. And as your inner world shifts, the outer world reflects it in ways that feel almost miraculous. It looks like you've been asking for explanations of the key points from the sermon but since no sermon or key point list has actually been generated yet in our chat, I'll quickly restate point 5 from a consistent set of key ideas and then give you the 450 word explanation you asked for. For continuity, here is point 5 from the key point list that naturally fits the sermon You Become What You Think. 5. Your imagination is the blueprint of your future, and whatever you continually picture in your mind begins to take form in your life. Now here is the 450 word explanation of point 5 with no subheadings and no ending sentence, just one continuous flowing passage. Your imagination is one of the most powerful forces you possess, yet most people underestimate it because it operates silently and internally. Every change that has ever happened in your life started as an image, a picture, a quiet inner rehearsal before it ever showed up in your outer world. When you understand that your imagination is essentially a preview of your future, you begin to treat your inner pictures with far more respect. What you consistently visualize becomes what you energetically move toward, even when you are not consciously aware of it. The mind cannot hold an image for long without beginning to look for ways to make it real, and this principle works whether the images you hold are positive or negative. When you allow fear, doubt, or limitation to dominate your inner screen, your actions subtly align with those pictures and your life begins reflecting that restriction. But when you nourish your imagination with visions of strength, possibility, clarity, and purpose, you awaken a completely different current within yourself, one that pulls you toward greater expressions of who you are meant to be. Your imagination communicates directly with your belief system, shaping what you think is possible for you. If you imagine failure often enough, you begin to believe failure is your destiny. If you imagine joy and success with consistency, your belief system adjusts upward, allowing you to act with a confidence that once seemed inaccessible. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the mind's way of rehearsing your potential before you physically live it. Athletes use it to build mastery, leaders use it to craft vision, and you can use it to design a life that reflects your highest intentions. Each image you hold becomes a quiet instruction to your subconscious mind, guiding your decisions, altering your emotional state, and shaping the opportunities you recognize or overlook. A person who imagines abundance walks through the same world as a person who imagines scarcity, yet they see entirely different possibilities because their inner blueprint dictates what their mind is prepared to notice. The more vivid and emotionally charged your inner pictures become, the more compelling they are to the deeper parts of your mind. Feeling the image is as important as seeing it, because the emotional tone tells your mind that the vision matters. Over time, what you imagine becomes familiar, and the familiar becomes believable, and the believable becomes achievable. Your imagination plants the seeds, your actions water them, and your reality eventually harvests what you allowed yourself to repeatedly envision. Here is the *450 word explanation for point 6 **, with **, no subheadings **, and **, no ending sentence **, exactly as requested. Embracing gratitude as any daily mental practice transforms the entire landscape of your inner world, shifting your focus from what is missing to what is already abundant in your life. When you consciously direct your thoughts toward appreciation, something profound begins to unfold within you. Your mind becomes attuned to possibilities rather than problems, to blessings rather than burdens, and to growth rather than limitation. Gratitude is not merely a polite reaction to favorable events. It is a powerful state of awareness that rewires how you think, feel, and respond to life. Every time you pause to acknowledge something good, no matter how small, you build a stronger mental habit that aligns with positivity and self-expansion. Many people believe they must wait for something extraordinary to happen before they can feel grateful. But gratitude is not a reward for having a perfect life. It is a tool for navigating an imperfect one with grace and wisdom. When you choose gratitude, you shift the frequency of your thoughts, much like tuning a radio from static to clarity. This shift has an extraordinary impact on how you interpret your circumstances. A person who practices gratitude is no longer controlled by the absence of what they desire. They are empowered by the presence of what they already possess. This creates a subtle but powerful inner confidence because you start to realize that life is offering you much more than you previously recognized. Gratitude opens your eyes to hidden gifts, the support of loved ones, the lessons learned from challenges, the strength you have gained over time, the opportunities waiting in ordinary moments. Each of these insights nourishes your inner peace and strengthens your mindset. Moreover, gratitude softens the grip of fear, doubt, and negativity, which often drain your energy and cloud your perception. When your thoughts are grounded in appreciation, your mind becomes less reactive, less prone to comparison, and more capable of seeing the good even in difficult situations. This doesn't mean you ignore problems. Rather, you meet them with a balanced heart and a clearer mind. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to consider, "What is this trying to teach me?" And in that subtle shift, you reclaim your personal power. Practicing gratitude daily, whether through reflection, journaling, or simply pausing to acknowledge a moment of goodness, helps anchor your thoughts in a place of stability and openness. Over time, this orientation toward thankfulness becomes your natural lens, shaping your emotions, your actions, and the very quality of your life. Here is the expanded explanation of point 7, the power of visualization written in about 450 words, without any subheading and without an ending. Sentence: visualization is one of the most transformative inner tools available to us, and yet most people use it unconsciously, allowing their minds to drift toward fear, uncertainty, or imagined worst case scenarios rather than toward the life they actually desire. When we speak of becoming what we think, visualization is the mechanism that gives those thoughts shape, color, and emotional weight. It is not merely daydreaming, but a deliberate act of inner creation. The mind does not distinguish sharply between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced, and because of this, visualization acts like a rehearsal for the soul. When you picture a life of peace, abundance, health, or purpose with clarity and conviction, you are essentially training your inner world to accept these outcomes as possible and normal. This inner acceptance then influences your behaviors, your emotional responses, your decisions, and the subtle energy you carry into the world. Visualization is not magic, it is alignment. To visualize effectively, you must allow yourself to feel the emotional signature of the life you are imagining. If you picture yourself confident but feel unworthy inside, the image remains flat and powerless. But if you hold the image long enough for the emotion to rise and meet it, something synchronizes within you. Your nervous system shifts, your posture changes, your inner dialogue softens. This is how the mind begins to rewire itself, not through force, but through repetition of thoughts infused with emotion. The more you practice seeing yourself as capable, fulfilled, and at peace, the more familiar those states become, and the less resistance your mind offers. People often underestimate this process because they cannot see immediate outer results, yet the first transformation always occurs invisibly. Seeds germinate long before they sprout above the soil, and visualization works the same way. Consistency is essential. A few scattered moments of imagining a better life cannot counterbalance years of habitual thought patterns rooted in fear or limitation. But gentle daily visualization begins to loosen those patterns. It opens inner doors. It invites you to show up differently, even subtly, in the world. You begin to speak with more certainty, listen more deeply, and notice opportunities you previously overlooked because your mind was tuned to a different frequency. Visualization is a way of tuning yourself to what you want, rather than to what you fear. When practiced with patience and sincerity, it becomes a quiet but powerful partnership between your inner world and the life you are moving toward. Here's a detailed 450-word explanation of point 8 from your motivational sermon concept. Point 8 emphasizes the profound truth that the energy of your thoughts directly shapes the energy of your life. Every thought carries a vibration, a frequency that resonates through your being and attracts circumstances, people, and experiences that match that vibration. When you consciously choose thoughts of abundance, love, and positivity, you are essentially broadcasting a signal to the universe that aligns with those very qualities. Conversely, when your mind dwells on fear, doubt, or limitation, you are unconsciously attracting experiences that reinforce those negative patterns. This is not a mystical fantasy, but a principle grounded in the natural law of cause and effect. Your mind, the silent director of your life, continually sends out subtle messages that shape your actions, decisions, and reactions. Each moment you spend ruminating on worry or self-criticism strengthens neural pathways that reinforce the patterns of limitation and lack. Yet, when you intentionally focus on empowering thoughts, the brain begins to rewire itself toward optimism and possibility, enhancing your ability to perceive opportunities rather than obstacles. It is essential to recognize that thoughts are not just fleeting mental events. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The more attention and energy you give to positive, constructive thoughts, the more robust their growth, eventually manifesting as tangible results in your external reality. This principle explains why two people in similar circumstances can experience life in dramatically different ways, because their inner landscapes, their habitual thinking patterns, create entirely different perceptions and outcomes. Additionally, cultivating awareness of your thoughts allows you to intercept and redirect those that serve no purpose in your highest good. By practicing mindfulness, affirmation, and visualization, you begin to consciously engineer the quality of your inner world. The thought patterns you reinforce today become the life experiences you encounter tomorrow. Understanding this empowers you to take ownership of your mental habits rather than surrendering to unconscious conditioning. It is also important to recognize that your environment responds to your energy. The people you meet, the opportunities that arise, and even seemingly random events often resonate with the dominant frequency of your mind. Therefore, by nurturing thoughts of confidence, gratitude, and creativity, you elevate your personal vibration, attracting experiences that reflect those qualities. Your mind is not a passive observer, it is an active participant in shaping reality, and the responsibility for the life you live ultimately rests in the quality of the thoughts you consistently choose to entertain. If you want, I can continue with point 9 in the exact same detailed 450 word style ready for your sermon series. Do you want me to do that next? Here's a detailed 450 word explanation of point 9 from your motivational sermon concept. Point 9 highlights the vital connection between self, belief, and the manifestation of your deepest desires. The mind has an extraordinary ability to translate belief into reality, and the strength of that belief often determines the trajectory of your life. When you genuinely believe in your potential, in your capacity to achieve, and in the inherent worthiness of your dreams, you activate a chain reaction within yourself that begins to align your actions, decisions, and attitudes with that belief. Self-belief is not merely wishful thinking. It is a disciplined mental practice that involves replacing doubt and fear with confidence and clarity. Every thought of limitation chips away at your potential, whereas every thought of empowerment reinforces the pathways that lead to success. Importantly, self-belief shapes your perception of opportunities. Two individuals may face the same challenge, yet the one who trusts in their ability to navigate it sees possibilities, while the one who doubts encounters obstacles and setbacks. This demonstrates that the external world often mirrors the internal state of consciousness. Developing self-belief requires consistent attention and intention, for the mind is like a garden that responds to what is sown. By cultivating affirmations, visualizations, and a steadfast focus on your goals, you nurture a mental environment that is fertile for growth. The practice of self-belief also fosters resilience. Life will inevitably present difficulties, disappointments, and unexpected turns, but a mind rooted in belief sustains the courage to persevere. It transforms challenges into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones, because the individual believes not only in the possibility of success, but also in their own ability to rise after every fall. Moreover, self-belief attracts external support and collaboration. People naturally gravitate toward those who demonstrate confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose. The energy you project through unwavering belief signals to the world that you are capable and worthy, creating opportunities that may have otherwise remained hidden. It is crucial to understand that self-belief is not arrogance or blind optimism. It is a quiet, persistent trust in the inner wisdom, strength, and creativity that resides within you. By anchoring your mind in this conviction, you cultivate a magnetic force that draws circumstances, ideas, and relationships into alignment with your vision. Over time, this consistent practice transforms your inner landscape, making the extraordinary not just a distant hope, but a living reality. Because your mind has become the instrument through which your dreams find form and substance, I can continue with point 10 in the same detailed style. Completing your full list for the sermon, should I do that next? Here's a detailed 450 word explanation of point 10 from your motivational sermon concept. Point 10 emphasizes the transformative power of taking conscious action in alignment with your thoughts and intentions. Thinking positively and visualizing your goals is an essential foundation, but it is the consistent, intentional actions you take that bridge the gap between imagination and reality. The mind creates the blueprint, but your deeds construct the structure. Without action, even the most vivid visions remain ethereal, floating in the realm of possibility without ever manifesting. Every decision you make, every small step you take toward your dreams, reinforces the belief in your own capabilities and sends a message to the universe that you are ready to receive and participate in your own success. This point underscores the necessity of discipline and persistence. It is not enough to merely hope or wish. Success requires a deliberate, steady commitment to doing what is necessary, even when motivation wanes or challenges arise. Actions taken with clarity of purpose create momentum, and momentum compounds over time, often producing results that surpass initial expectations. Furthermore, conscious action transforms fear and doubt into experience and knowledge. Each step, even those that appear as missteps or failures, teaches lessons and builds confidence, providing concrete proof that you are capable of navigating life's uncertainties. It is through action that intentions gain weight and form, because the universe responds to energy in motion. By aligning your daily habits and choices with the vision you hold in your mind, you create a resonance that attracts opportunities, people, and circumstances that reflect and support your goal. Taking action also reinforces the neural pathways associated with confidence, problem solving, and perseverance, which in turn strengthens the quality of your future thoughts and decisions. Moreover, deliberate action cultivates a sense of ownership and accountability for your life. It shifts you from a passive observer of circumstance to an active creator of experience, reminding you that your destiny is shaped by the choices you make moment to moment. The combination of focused thought and purposeful action forms a powerful synergy that accelerates personal growth and achievement. Without action, thought remains abstract. Without thought, action can lack direction. Together, they form a dynamic process of creation, where your vision, belief, and effort converge to produce results that align with your highest potential, allowing you to move from merely imagining the life you desire to actually living it, step by step, choice by choice if you want. Also, asterisk asterisk, compile all 10 points into a single polished sermon asterisk asterisk in the style you requested, ready to deliver with flow and impact. This would make it easy to read as one cohesive motivational piece. Do you want me to do that?